Come on, you Reds.
Hey guys, what's going off? It is Talk Force TV. Well, to my left, we've got Matt.
Hello, good morning.
How are we?
Better, not perfect, long way off it, but better. And Christmas is almost here, so a bit of turkey will do the trick.
It would be nice. Hopefully that Christmas spirit would go on to Boxing Day with Middlesbrough.
Well, yeah, it was a good result, the last one, wasn't it? Getting another win there, so vitally important 3 points. And yeah, it's been a fantastic end to the year. So be nice to finish it off, wouldn't it? And get the points up in the northeast.
I mean, I know there's been a lot of talk about Jed Spence going into Sunday's game, which obviously, with it being Middlesbrough and obviously that right back, wing back situation will need to be addressed. But obviously,
Yeah,
it'd be good for Finn back to get back in there.
Well, it looks like he's going to have to, doesn't it? Because we've got the injuries to Ossie Tutu and obviously Max Lowe's still out. He's not 100%. And as you say, Spence can't play. So, yeah, who is going to play? Hopefully, yeah, Finn back might be getting his debut. And it might, hopefully, you can put in one of his performances that he's capable of. And it'll be memorable for all the right reasons, but I don't know what we're going to do at left back as well, because I hope it's not poor old Colback. He'll end up playing more games at left back than he does at right back at this rate.
Yeah, I just hope that they're not thinking that we don't play Colback at right back.
No, well, I don't know what they're going to do. I'd like to think, well, Richardson's not around now, is he? So that's not an option. So I don't know I don't know. I really don't know. We might be down to Bong. It might be last sort of resort we end up going for in the end.
I mean, that Aminu went with the first team squad against West Brom. He might be thrown into not thrown into deep end, but he might be within the squad for the game now.
Yeah, I guess he could be. I'd like to think Tyrese Forner might be there as well, if not playing, definitely on the bench. I hear there's a lot of COVID issues, a couple of players testing positive, so they're testing like mad, hoping they're going to sort of come good and pass a couple of tests and be able to play. But who knows at the moment? I mean, apart from the ones that are testing positive already, you might get some others. So that team sheet will be quite interesting when we get to hear it now before kick-off on Boxing Day, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, how we did handle Saturday's game against Saw. I mean, even for the first half an hour, we absolutely destroyed. And after that injury to Tutu, and we had to re-jingle. Did a bit of a thingy, but I mean, it was great to see he stuck at it again and getting the 3 points out of it.
Yes. No, that injury didn't help at all. Like you say, it caused everything to get kind of juggled around and kind of spoil everything, unfortunately. But that's where we are at the moment. We're stuck with the fullbacks. As soon as we can get back to our first choice, we'll be the whole team will benefit from it, no doubt. But yeah, it was a good performance, like you say, and it was brilliant that we got the points at the end of the day, despite making a bit of a heavy weather of it, as we tend to.
Definitely. I mean, funny enough, when we did play Middlesbrough last time, we had two different complete managers against each other, because now obviously that was like the hammer in the coffin for Chris Hughton, because he got sacked near enough that night or morning. I don't know if we were sacked that night or not, but and obviously Warnock left a couple months later, so it's near enough for a brand new manager approach to this one.
Well, we're a completely different team, obviously. I mean, that was Forest probably at its lowest ebb when we last played them, but they'll have a different team to face this time. I just hope that it's something like the kind of Forest team we'd like to put out, and it isn't affected by the old COVID outbreak that we're managing at the moment. So It's going to be challenging just with the injuries alone. So, we'll see. Old Cooper will be sort of, I don't know, keeping all his channels open and sort of be checking all the test results, I guess, at the moment, and just desperately juggling around his pieces. He's probably got a long list of players he's thinking about at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I imagine that Stevie Cooper does have a plan B, plan C, plan D. Probably up to said knowing Stevie Cooper.
Yeah. Well, it's difficult because he won't. He's had to learn all about his squad quite quickly, hasn't he? It's been hard enough just the first team. He won't be so familiar with a lot of the under-23s and things. He does go and watch them at every opportunity, but he's got a lot of players to sort of get his head around and evaluate and figure out what they can do. And a lot of it's theoretical, isn't it? So, it's going to be a challenge for him, but he's done fantastically well so far. So yeah, let's see what he can pull out of his backside on Boxing Day, because it might be his biggest test yet, I fear. But so far he's passed all the tests. Right now I'd take a draw quite happily and say yes. Let's just get through that game, get out the other side.
I mean, I've been saying a draw will be pretty good result at Middlesbrough, especially with how they are playing. I mean, Chris Ryder got them playing well and organised, so a point won't be a bad thing their way. But with Forest, you never know nowadays. So we are.
No, we're capable of beating anyone, aren't we?
Yeah.
Since Cooper's come in, even Fulham, okay, we got fairly thumped, but it wasn't as bad as it was on paper, and we were definitely in the game. So we don't need to fear anyone in the league. We're top of the form books. We could just as easily win. We've got that capability now, haven't we? And everyone believes it. We believe it, and everyone we play against believes it of us. So it gives you the advantage if they fear you to some extent. So I think Boxing Day is going to be one of his toughest tests yet, though, anyway, regardless, not because of who we're playing, just because of the way the cards have fallen with all our injuries and, like I say, the COVID. And, it's just going to be a challenge, and with Spence out and so forth. We're stretched to the limit, aren't we? And and he likes to do he's been doing things by a sort of system so far, and he's not going to be able to quite do that now. He's not going to have the luxury of that at all, so he's going to have to think on his feet. Maybe it'll bring out the best in him, though. He's passed all the tests so far, so no reason why he won't do this one. But this will be his toughest to date, I believe.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, knowing Stevie Cooper, he will have that test against Middlesbrough, which we knew this was going to come anyway, because we have been saying it, that he has been always test that he has been. So, and we are expecting this to come soon, not sooner rather than later. That's probably bad to say, but we have been expecting it.
Well, I mean, to be fair to him, the first day he came in, after he'd won a couple of games, he said it isn't going to be like this. It's going to be ups and downs. It's going to be, there's. So he's been sort of saying from the start we can have tough days and things. And truthfully, we haven't really had them yet, have we? Really, we've had a few little scrapes here and there, but he's been able to sail through fairly serenely. So, he's got one of those days. I think, unfortunately, on Boxing Day, it would be a shame if we end up suffering because of circumstances rather than purely football reasons, sort of thing. But we'll just have to wait and see, and cross our fingers, and hope the tests all come up negative and so forth, and gives him the best possible chance. But after that, we've got the transfer window, haven't we, to worry about, and then it's another ball game.
Yeah, I mean, there have been talk of that, obviously starting already with Brennan Johnson. There were then reports last night suggesting that Brentford were coming in for him, Newcastle and all that, but David Johnson practically pulled that out. Then that of Brentford put in the bid last night, which got rejected straight away, which is quite nice to see.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he wants to leave. Truthfully, everyone always says, "Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah," but he basically. They've got time on their side, haven't they? These young kids, and he's learning, and he's on an upward trajectory, and I don't think he's desperately trying to cash in and get rich overnight, sort of thing. Of course, if someone bids 30 million, you can't say no. He has to go, and that's the same for every single player, isn't it? It's completely different from whether they want to leave. I doubt there's a player in the squad that, well, there might be a couple actually, but there's very few players in that squad, certainly the ones that are getting picked, that would want to leave at the moment. I mean, why would you? Everything's moving in the right direction at the moment, and they're all looking good and enjoying their football. So I don't think, Johnson isn't angling for a move. The club are in a tricky position because they've got to balance the books anyway, and that tends to mean they have to sell someone. That tends to be either going to be your biggest assets, or you're going to have to get rid of a lot of the smaller ones that no one wants then. So that's the problem. I wish we didn't have all those fringe players that never play that we signed for no apparent reason, because if you had that, didn't lumber yourself with those, you'd be able to pay better than half decent wages and so forth, and probably settle the matter and put it off for a little while. But unfortunately, they seem to like collecting a lot of players that they seem to have no intention of playing for some reason that I can never get my head around. They've got to stop that and then spend the money where it's needed, and we'll be all right. Because we've got a decent sized budget compared to a lot of teams.
Yeah, definitely. And I said it as well, saying that with Brennan, if he goes to a Premier League club, it won't be like a regular like he is now. So,
no.
I mean, if we have to do it, then we have to do it. But I mean, if Brennan would have had to force him, if he wouldn't be playing regularly like he is now. So.
No, I know. You could see, obviously it's Brennan and old Joe Worrell, the ones that everyone's obviously assumes going to go. And it's true, yeah. You might not see him play again this season quite easily. I mean, depending on what kind of club they go to. So, which is no good for their career. I think, regardless of anything else, they'd rather play as many games for this season as they can, whatever level. But you don't get to pick and choose, do you? So we've seen a lot of kind of good players leave and not fulfil their potential and so forth. But it'll be what it will be, won't it? And ultimately, the clubs will decide. If no one offers the money, you can't sell them anyway. But with us doing so well, there's obvious interest. It's a shame we haven't got a few other assets you could sell instead of those two, because I think both those two are kind of players you quite happily build the team around.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely like to build around them. I mean, Yates and what I mean, I'm going to talk about Yates and Worrell, but definitely Worrell has been through a lot since his first debut. I mean, going through all the managers and player heartbreak and all that. I mean, that has literally stood him in good stead more now than ever.
Yeah, he's an excellent player for us. Obviously, he's one of the first names on the team sheet. Centre halves, I don't know. In a way, we've got lots of good centre halves. If he did get sold, maybe we could, we wouldn't miss him as much as we would other players, just by virtue of him being a centre half. If you could, Scott McKenna's not at all a bad player for a couple, 2 or 3 million. If you can get someone that good for 2 or 3 million, you can get 12 or something for Joe, or 15. Wow, you can't go wrong. You can get a whole team of centre halves, can't you? But you just don't know. You have to make those choices, decide which players actually make a big difference on the pitch, don't you? And Joe's a talisman. He'll always be a Forest fan, of course. It's sad if he does leave, but if he does, maybe well, with both of them to some extent, you can spend the money, invest it wisely. That's all you've got to do, isn't it? That's all you can do. And we've got a lot of talent coming through, so I'd like to think, you know, they're not going to be the last ones. I'm sure.
Yeah, I do actually agree with you on that one. To be fair, I would. What would you take from Sunday's game and then Saturday again? Even though it's
I know it's funny. You don't. It's weird with Christmas. You don't know what day of the week it is at all. But yeah, well, sitting here now, I'd be very happy if we just get a draw, really. But so let's not be greedy. I'd say let's take a point. Let's take a 1-1 or something like that. Put the game behind us. Like I say, I think when we see the team sheet come out, it could be all our sort of opinions about it could change pretty dramatically. It could be like, crikey, we'll be lucky to keep it in single figures, or if we're not careful. But let's just see. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Let's hope they can put out something like the team he wants to put out, and it isn't affected by illness. And sitting here now, I'll be quite happy if we take a draw. And hopefully Mr. Cooper finds a way. Having said that, as we were saying, he can always pull a win out of anywhere. And if you can put a team on the pitch, they're going to compete and they're going to try and win. And often they'll manage it one way or another. So I'll take a draw, though. I'm not going to be greedy and sort of expect miracles from him. He's done well so far, and a draw would be more than enough. It would be greedy to expect or hope for more, really, at this point.
I do actually agree with you on that. I'll be happy with a point on Sunday and just keep things moving. But even with a point, it'd be more than anything.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's going to be interesting for the league as a whole, isn't it? If there is COVID issues all round, it's going to get kind of messy, isn't it? So, you won't know whether you're playing games, whether you're not playing games, whether you're able to watch them or whatever. It's all going to change. So, I mean, let's just keep our fingers crossed that it all kind of subsides a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. And actually, thank you for coming on.
Thanks very much, Dan. Fingers crossed for Boxing Day.
Fingers crossed. So I'd like to say thank you for watching, guys.